Okay, so let's start. So this is going to be the outline of the talk. What is GeoGebra? Um, the GeoGebra interface. I'll have a bit of a review. Of course, we learn how to graph, and then the overview of the artwork. We're going to do similar as last time. We'll also do transformation of functions, domains and intervals, and then we're going to do the artwork, a very simple artwork. Um, And of course, I'm going to show you the artwork of previous sample artworks from previous implementations from different schools. No. So are you ready? Right. So what is GeoGebra? GeoGebra is a dynamic mathematics software for teaching and learning mathematics that combines algebra, geometry, calculus, statistics, and spreadsheet in one package. Now, what is good about GeoGebra is, as you have probably know already, is that you can use it in multiple platforms. So for example, if you're using a computer or using a laptop, desktop, or tablet, or even mobile phone, you can use GeoGebra. So it doesn't matter what device you use, you can always use GeoGebra. Let me take a screenshot. Another advantage of GeoGebra is, of course, it also supported by multiple operating systems. So if you're using Mac, for example, or Windows, or even Linux, no, even Linux, it's supported by GeoGebra and also other operating systems. And another good thing about GeoGebra, if you have can you see my screen? Oh, sorry, not this one. So another good thing about GeoGebra is you can also open it using your browser. So it's the same actually. Um, for example, here, if you type geogebra.org/classic, then you will be taken to this page, and this page is actually the GeoGebra environment. So you can use it offline, and also you can use it online. That's the good thing about GeoGebra. So it's very flexible actually, and you can use it anywhere. And by the way, Marcus, you have uh, mentioned Marcus. He's actually here at JKU, at my university. So I sometimes see him in the building. And also the GeoGebra team is actually in my building. We are on the same floor. So the main team for GeoGebra, of course, GeoGebra is collaborated by a lot of um, people around the world. It's an open source software, which means that anyone can contribute. So it's but the main team is actually here at JKU in Linz, Austria. So ang Austria ay nasa Europe ha, hindi siya sa Austria and Australia are different. So Australia is south of the Philippines, but Austria is in Europe. No? So katabi ng Hungary and Germany and Czech Republic, and so those are the you can check the map later. Right. So if you open GeoGebra, this is what you will see. Um, Let me go to the site. So you will see the input bar. This is the classic, so the GeoGebra has a different environment. So if you want to download, I gave you you go to geogebra.org, and then you go to calculators, and you go to app downloads. And there are many types of GeoGebra, depending on what device you use and your purpose. One moment. But at the bottom, you will see somewhere. I can give you this. I can give you the link later. I've given you the link earlier. You can see here all download options. So if you go here, if you click on the download options, I will give you the link to this. there are many um, options, and what we use is the GeoGebra Classic 6. Can you see your screen? Can you see on the screen? So if you're using Windows, you have to download this offline installer if you want it offline, meaning don't have to use to have the internet. And if you're using Mac, you can click on this link. Okay. And also if you're using iPad here. Okay. So why do we need to use GeoGebra Classic 6? The good thing about GeoGebra Classic 6 is that it is a complete package. So if you see here, if you see on your screen, there are different options. You have the graphing, the geometry, 3D graphics, spreadsheet, and so on. Okay. So for this session, we will be using the graphing tool. Okay. Can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the
Yes
parts of
po.
GeoGebra. You don't need to really memorize it, but as long as you know how to use it. So we have the input bar here. We have the algebra view. So the input bar is where you type your equations, and the algebra view you see the coordinates, the equations, the functions here, the algebraic representation of your objects. And the toolbar this is where you have the tools. And also the graphics view, this is where you draw. This is the geometric representation of what you do. And the style bar and the menu bar. The menu bar is where you, for example, manage your files. You save, you open your file, and so on. And the style bar this is where you change the properties of objects like color, thickness, no, and other properties. And also this is the perspective. The perspective appears the first time you open GeoGebra. So if once you use it, it will disappear. Okay. So let's go to the GeoGebra page. So as I told you earlier, you can open your GeoGebra in your browser. Also, if your internet is good, if it's fast, then you don't have to download it. So here are the tools. No, we don't have to spend on this so much because I think all of you know GeoGebra. This is the input bar. This is where you type your equations. And then if you notice, you have if you click on the input bar, there's a little keyboard that appears here on the bottom left. If you click on this, you have your calculator, and this is where you find the numbers and the symbols. So if you need square, square root, for example, if you need the Greek letters, so there's a set of Greek letters here. You can, I don't know if you can see my screen, but the toolbar of Zoom is covering my, how do I get rid
Kita
of
po,
this?
sir. Nakikita
One
po,
moment.
sir.
So as you can see here, you can click here. For example, if you need Greek letters, you can click on the ABC here and then click the Greek letters. So you'll have your Greek letters here, and also the symbols. If you need symbols like degrees, for example, so there are degrees, the inequality symbol, the sine and cosine, and so on and so forth. Okay. So that is the toolbar. And this is the menu box. So earlier I told you that if you click on the first time you use if you open GeoGebra, you will see this, but this will disappear once you click, and you can open this using this menu box. So this is where you save also your file. So you can save online. If you already have an account, can save it on your computer. And the perspective earlier that appeared when we first load GeoGebra, these are the perspectives. So it's in the menu box. And here, these are the properties of the objects. So as of now, since there are no objects, we can see only the grid and the Cartesian coordinate. So if you don't want, for example, the Cartesian, the XY axis, you can just click on this button, and also you can click on this button to remove or change the grid line. So there are polar coordinates, and these are also other types of grid. Okay, right. So that's the parts of GeoGebra. And just to give you an idea of the objects. So for example, if I draw a line, what do I need to draw a line? You need 2 points, no? If you draw geometrically. And earlier you mentioned about Euclid, no? Let me check on the comments. I think there's some comment. Okay. So earlier talk about Euclid. If you're familiar with the first postulate of Euclid, it says 2 points determine a line. So this follows the principle of Euclid. That to have a line, you need to have 2 points. So you can adjust the 2 points, and each of the positions determine a unique line. So that is actually from Euclid. If you see on your algebra view, there are three objects. These are the points A, B with the coordinates. So these are the algebraic representations of the objects here. And there's also the equation of the line. Of course, if you move the points, the equation also changes. Okay. So there are three objects. We have 2 points and one line. You have the equation of the point and the description of the line, which is AB, line AB. Okay. Another example is if I draw a polygon, for example. If I draw a triangle, so for the polygon, I can draw, for example, a quadrilateral. So what are these objects here? These are the objects in the polygon. So as you can see, we have 4 segments. So the segments are actually the segments that you see here on the sides. And what is Q1? Q1 represents the entire polygon, and the 12.87 that you see here, this is the area. And the numbers that you see here are the length of the segments. So if I move one of the points, of course, the area changes, and the lengths of these two, which lengths are changing. Of course, these two here, but these two are not affected. Okay. And if I move here, of course, the area and the length of two of the segments are changing. Right? Any questions? Any questions so far? Well, we have 211. Oh, may question daw si Ethan. Yes. Ethan, do you have a question? You can open your mic if you want.
Paano po pumunta sa GeoGebra Classic?
Sorry? Paano?
Paano po pumunta sa GeoGebra Classic po?
Are you using laptop or
Laptop po.
uh, you can download as I mentioned earlier, or you can go to this link. One moment. How can I access the chat? Oh, here. You can go to this link. Okay. Dahil naka-internet naman kayo, if you're using laptop, you can use your browser. Just click the link that I gave, that I sent earlier. Right. Okay na, Ethan?
Apa.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's proceed. So we have the parts of GeoGebra. The style bar. What does the style bar do? So the style bar, depending on the object that you click, you can, if you click on an object and then click on the style bar, you can change the properties like the color, for example. You can change the thickness. You can change the style. Okay, so, and if I click on B, this is another. If you see, the styles are different, of course, depending on the object. So here I have different types of points, for example. I can use X, for example, instead of this one, instead of the circular one. I can also change the style and I can change the color. Okay, so it depends on you. You can explore this on your own, I'm sure. Okay, so that's for the parts of GeoGebra. Next, so we need to graphs. We need to learn about graphs. These are the very simple functions. And for those who are in grade 10, probably you learned already a lot of functions, no? So these are very simple functions. This is how you type them on if you want to graph. Of course, aside from functions, we have inequalities. And we can also type circles, for example, this one. So if you type the equation to circle, you will learn this, no? So for example, if I go here, I'll reload, no? So everything will be deleted. So if you need something, the problem with the browser is if you accidentally close it, then all your work will be gone, will be deleted. So be sure to save your file online or offline if you want, if you need it. No, okay. So once I refresh this, I reload this, everything will be gone. Okay. So to graph, you can just type the equation here. No, I'm sure the grade 9 and grade 10 already know this, but for grade 8, you can type here the graph. No, for example, may quadratic equations na ba sila, sir? Were you able to graph quadratic equations?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Able to-
Okay, so for example, for quadratic equation, you can type y equals x squared, for example. Okay. You have the y, but the notation that we're going to use the f of x notation. So f of x equals x squared. And the reason that we're going to use this notation because this allows us to change later the domain. So we can cut the function from one point to another. The y notation, as I think you cannot cut the function using the y notation. So you have f of x equals x squared. Of course, you can type another plus 2x plus 5, for example, plus 5. So you can do that. No? And of course, you can experiment. So I'll give you 5 minutes to um, type this. You know this key, right? The caret, it's above number 6 on your keyboard. So you try graphing these functions and conics. Conic is a circle is a conic, and also this inequality. Okay, so 5 minutes to experiment, especially the grade 8, because this is your first time to, probably some of you, this is the first time that you graph, no? So just type these equations, and then if you have some questions, please type them on the chat box. 5 minutes.